Make sure you come over here and follow him, and then of course on YouTube as well. I don't have your YouTube linked, but definitely go ahead and I'll just let you introduce yourself.
Totally, man. DREWTH. I'm a researcher. Work with BitBoy Crypto and Hit Network down here in Georgia, and more on I'm focused on macroeconomics and definitely a maximal-ish. I will say right out of the gates on Bitcoin. I'm a fan of Bitcoin, but I use all coins to get there.
Congress is voting to abolish the IRS. Yeah, that's a good topic.
It's gonna die. They're not gonna let it happen. It's just a talking point. I would love that. Oh my God.
Right. Consumption tax would probably, I don't know, I guess if it's based on how much you spend, I guess you can't be taxed on more than you spend.
There's a lot of three-letter agencies that need to be overhauled.
Yes. Yes.
Them being one of them. But the economic news happening right now that I think people are kind of left unaware to. That's coming down the pipe. Janet Yellen highlighting the debt ceiling needs to be raised because we're about to default on our debt as a country. Reverse repo markets happening right now. We have a lot of bears just begging for the lower lows, and I just don't think that they're going to get it. I really got to break some hearts. I've been saying 17. This 17 to 15 range is the bottom for a long time. Been told I was an idiot. I'm still sticking to my guns. I do think that we'll get back down to 20 right as political ads start up for the presidential election at the end of this year. But I don't see that coming before then. So
right.
This is the first thing I saw today. Bitcoin hash ribbon indicators signaling that miner capitulation could almost be over. We've seen miners selling heavily during this bear market. It's been a brutal bear market. There's no question about it. Absolutely. But we have miner balance actually turning around in a pretty big way. They sold heavily right here. Net positions cratered. And then now we're seeing a resurgence of that. But beyond that, this is how much miners were sending to exchanges during the height of this June and the Fed. And we're so hawkish. We're so cool. Fed officials offering less confidence. Reverse repo usage will shrink, basically saying that we don't think we'll be able to stop buying back these bonds because the valuations are too low 30 years from now. They use those bonds to keep the can being kicked down the road. And this market has taught me one thing. I expect to be gaslit. I expect to be lied to by these officials. Knowing that, this is the CPI that they try to sell the public. This is the CPI that they want us to believe exists. And this highlights core services going up to 9%. Food, they say that food is somewhere around 4.5% inflation. Here's the actual inflation.
Right.
This is the CPI if it was done correctly. We used to do CPI correctly in the 80s. It ended 1990. But this graph gives you, if we were to go off of the correct CPI stats without all the government cooking the books on how they want the numbers to be padded, this is what the inflation rate would actually be. Food, for consumer inflation, we're at least 15%. At least.
Oh, yeah.
Because you have some goods that have doubled.
Absolutely. Eggs, for example.
Maybe
eggs might have tripled. Eggs might have tripled or quadrupled.
Dude, oh my God. I had so many egg comments because I'm a prepper. I have backyard eggs. I talk about having eggs all the time for my people. So eggs is definitely, put some chickens in your backyard. Hedge against that bet, in my opinion.
Yes.
This is what it should be. This is what the actual data is. The entire history and the history of share prices gives a highlight to, let's zoom in a little bit here. So we have the railroad boom. We have the roaring 20s. This is the Great Depression, right? And then oil shocks, stagflation in the 70s, do away with the gold standard. And then just up the elevator we go. And I just kind of put this as a meme that this is what everyone expects. And honestly, if you think that that's going to happen, then what in the heck are you doing not prepping?
Right.
If you think the market's going to go that low, you probably should put some food in your backyard on the hoof, right?
Yes.
Instead of being some pencil-necked economic person that's on television telling them to run for the hills with no plan of what to do if it does. That drives me nuts. Have a plan. And this is my plan. This is basic. This is very basic stuff. I bought COVID. This gave me the moment I was looking for. I was already prepped. I already had a bunch of toilet paper,
Right.
and all the things to hang out in my house for a year, maybe a year and a half. I had a lot of money to deploy. I moved violently in the face of adversity right here. And I used to be a gold bug, but the COVID and the flu cootie conversation gave a lot more weight to digital commerce, especially in a global economic system that is traded electronically and mostly purchased over the internet. This asset class makes more sense than breathing air to me at this point with how things are set up. Yeah, I'm having fun buying.
People were crazy not to be buying during COVID. I was definitely buying crypto.
Right, man. And everyone thought we were crazy.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
What are you doing? Didn't they tell you the world's on fire? How about yours? Why aren't you running away and being afraid of these things? And if you would have ran away from crypto like a lot of people did right here, then this happens. Then you're buying up here.
And you get
then
screwed.
The media scares you again. You're buying here.
And then you've just in that vicious cycle of just buying high and selling low. Right. And then it just keeps continuing.
It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. And the media, it's easy to make money in the markets. You just do opposite of what they tell you to do.
Yes.
And you will literally make money. It's not their goal to let us make money as peasants or pheasants or middle class. It's not the goal of AP, Associated Press, and all these conglomerates to make us rich by the alpha information they're giving us. The information we're getting is months old. Probably fabricated. Absolutely. Absolutely, man.